You remember the Grindhouse trailer? It was called the Grindhouse.
That's pretty good. So this is something that we're trying. It's a fun experiment, tentatively called the Talkies.
The Talkies.
The Talkies.
The Talkies. Let's go around the table a little bit. I'm Jeff.
I'm Sarah.
This is John.
John who?
Hauser.
John Hauser.
Oh, the deep resonance.
Hauser.
He has a website.
I do have a website. It is johnhauser.com.
How do you spell it?
Houzer. It's Hauser, not Hosier, not the singer.
Not the singer.
Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Hosier is it's Hauser.
Just when you thought it was safe to put an S in Hauser, you thought wrong.
Well, the Z is for cool people. Everyone knows that.
Yes.
Marketing 101. Have a Z.
It's like, or if you add like a Z to the Springer Films,
because they're extreme.
Action.
or Talkies.
Speaking of, that is an excellent segue. So welcome to Talkies. Talkies on Assembler FM. This episode is sponsored by the Springer Film Institute. Happens to be where Sarah and I also work.
Yep.
I definitely say I definitely would have loved if this was a thing back when I was a kid, like growing up here and stuff. Like this is, just to see this and like how it's all playing out. Just to be in this room right now is it's crazy right now. Like,
But Jeff and I talk about this all the time. Like, I mean, we're both from Columbus, and we had to leave to go follow our dreams. You know what I mean? Like, there was no film. Say for the Springer, there wasn't as much theater or even acting opportunities for people like us, so we had to leave. And now, like, with everything that's happening, with how much art is happening in Columbus, not just
it's booming.
film and acting, like, it's a whole new world. It's
like,
really exciting.
It's like Columbus is just getting into like this art deal in full force. Like it's pretty incredible. Like even with like we got our buildings now are being painted. Like downtown is a lot more colorful than it used to be, which is like
well, we had Art Pop, which was last week, and then we had Creative South, which was happening this past weekend. And there's been the Way Down Film Festival. There's all these like little like surges of creativity for different pockets. Art Pop was great to see. Painters and photographers and jewelry makers all come together, and then Creative South is designers and calligraphers and graphic artists all come together, and Way Down, your filmmakers, not just from here but all over. Like we're stacking the deck, I think, to make Columbus really awesome.
Almost like I was about to say, almost like pioneers in the sense of just like, because I feel like this new wave of creativity is coming from like our generation, and it's just gonna
absolutely
Like I was gonna say, just like the older, I don't want to offend like them, but just like the older people that's just kind of running things. I guess
Who are you talking about, John?
Getting controversial here, but but I'm just not saying that like older people, but just I guess people that's just been. I guess what I'm really just trying to say is that creatives are.
You're talking about there's an established status quo right now.
Right,
disrupting it.
Right, exactly. But I see we're going to a place now where like people at our age demographic and just people like us creatives are now kind of rebuilding or just rebranding Columbus in a sense.
Yeah.
Which brings me, I mean, we've already hit on, I have a list of topics. Well, just because of what we're talking about now is where do you want to see film in Columbus go, and where do you want to see Columbus go in general, like with arts and creativity? I think would be really good. But since we're the Talkies, I figure we should talk about film.
Yeah, it might be helpful for context to talk about where do we feel like Columbus film is now, and where has it been? From my point of view, I remember, I think of Columbus right now a lot like I used to think of Atlanta, where there was a time in the 90s when like The Heat of the Night was filming, and they'd film a couple movies in Atlanta every now and again. and everyone would talk about, oh, there's so much film, and this is the 90s, okay? And they would say, there's so much film in Atlanta. They used to say that then, right? There's so much film in Atlanta, and you can go and you can be an actor, and you don't have to go to L.A., and you can be in Atlanta. And they were saying that at a time when, from my point of view, it did not seem to be true.
Right.
It seemed to be very wishful thinking. Like, okay, there's definitely there's a TV show that shoots there, and there's some movies that come through because they like the locations, but a lot of times those movies end up in Savannah or wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then something started to change.
Yep.
And then that statement did become true. And like now it is true. Like Sarah and I, we make a lot of our living in Atlanta doing film and television because now we can. And now when someone says there's a lot of film in Atlanta, and like now it is really true. But I remember feeling like an inflection point where it went from, okay, sure, there's some stuff shooting to like, no, legit, there's stuff shooting all the time.
Half of LA is in Atlanta in the sense, like they're shipping companies over because of the boom, which is fantastic.
And it's so wild to think. Like y'all have no idea. Just like everything that's happening right now. I was literally just like hoping and praying for that. Like as a kid, like movies are just like my life, and like growing up and just figuring out what a director was and stuff. And then it was just like, I've always had that sense of, all right, you have to go to New York or L.A. in order to handle that. And then whenever they would shoot some films here, like you said, they were shooting like Savannah or just like small areas in Georgia and stuff. But even then, like whenever I would find out about that stuff, I thought it was like fascinating.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, like, they shot this in Savannah, they shot this in
But it seems so like
Atlanta
unattainable. It's like, oh, it's so up in the clouds. How do I, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, you just... You do the thing, you audition, you get to be a PA on a set, you work your way up. It's not like... It's not out of the realm of possibility because it's happening. I mean, besides the Mans Mackey Studios being here, that we've got the Flat Rock Studios, and we've got the Kendrick Brothers filmed something here. I need to come closer to the mic. Sorry. I'm not used to this.
While we're in a bit of a pause, if I can kind of circle back for just a second, what I was getting to is I remember that there was this inflection point where it was like, okay, there's some stuff shooting, and then the narrative became, okay, there's enough stuff shooting, but if you're an actor, all you're ever going to be is a day player. And now the conversation has moved to, no, you can come in and you can book leads in features and in television and not be based in LA. And now I feel like Columbus is on the beginning of this inflection point where it went from, oh, there's stuff shooting in Columbus, kind of maybe like We Were Soldiers, to now we're getting that tickle of stuff from Atlanta where it's like, no, there's like Columbus is starting to be seen as a viable location to shoot. And that's where the change is happening. Anyway, I just think that maybe we're at a point where we're at the beginning of a change.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely at the beginning. Like,
Absolutely.
even, like, just this here, too, Springer Film Institute, like, that is the beginning. Like, that's...
Trying.
Yeah, like it still
it's
plays it's gonna play a huge part. Like I believe so. Like it does.
I like to think. I mean, at least I feel like with my students who are actors, like they're going out and they're starting the hustle. You know what I mean? And like, I always tell them, look, I wish I had someone to tell me what to do, because like I went from theater to film, like. You know, a lot of theater people, and it's not this way anymore now. Now there's like bleed between, to like you can do theater and film, but there was a time when you were either a theater actor or you were a film actor, and if you tried to be either, like people scoffed at you, and like there was this elitism, and so no one told me all the things I needed to know to start filming. It was through a lot of trial and error and a lot of mistakes, and it's like if I can just be like, here's what I did that was wrong. Don't do that, like.
What I like about what we're doing here is I'm really excited about what's going on with the college, right, for sure. But we're not part of the college. We're our own thing, and we're accessible to everyone. And you don't have to be enrolled in college to show up and do stuff. Yeah. And so I think not to make this like a long sponsory, because that's not what we're here for. But I do think that something that we provide as a service is that we are accessible to more people than. If you have to tack on the cost of college tuition with it at the same
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, funny story. I was last time we spoke, I told y'all that I was thinking about going to film school and stuff, and CSU's film program interests me a lot, and I was like going back and forth on whether I should do that, and then that's when I like saw this, and then it was just like, okay, well, I don't have to sign up for like classes and grades and just like have to deal with that whole deal and get I don't know, loans and stuff. I just feel like that was going to be a whole nother different thing. But that's why I say that programs like Springer Film Institute is going to be very beneficial, just because there may be a kid out there who doesn't know that much about filmmaking, but maybe wants to get into filmmaking, and maybe they don't have enough money to go to school. Maybe they don't have like that kind of deal, but they can come here and.
No, absolutely. I mean, like our goal is, whether we a novice or you really want to do this as your passion, come take our classes, and then if you want to go to GFA, that's great, right? Go continue that, or if you think you're ready to go work on a film set, go work on a film set. Like you really get to choose your own path as an adult, and I feel like sometimes we forget that. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're 18 and you've just graduated high school and you've had 18 years of being told where to go and what to do and what is expected of you, and then you're sort of released into the wild with coming up with your own structure. This could be a little bullet point on your journey to be like, what do I need to do next? Because I think the longest class we have runs for 6 weeks. So it's not like it's so much of your life, you know what I mean? But it's a moment where you can figure things out and reassess, or be like, no, I want to know more, or I want to go do this professionally. And I think that's really cool. Meow, meow, meow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Okay, great.
We're all fives.
We're all fives. Okay.
Tight.
Type 5.
Type 5.
Okay, we're back. Nice type 5. I took a break there just to check a little sound file thing, but we're good to go. Okay, so before we dig into our list for today, John, you have a website.
I do.
as we covered. But you're an artist in town, and tell us. I don't want to speak for you. Tell us about yourself. Tell us about what you do and your journey.
Okay, I guess I'm just a creative, just in general. But if I had to put a title, I would say filmmaker, videographer, editor. I never know which one to really say. Is it just filmmaker? Is it just go filmmaker?
Yeah, go with filmmaker.
All of the above.
Let's just do that. Let's do that.
Filmmaker.
Yeah.
Depends on what job you're trying to get, right?
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
What got you inspired, or what's the moment where you're like, this is what I want to do? I want to be a filmmaker.
Jurassic Park. Just like I feel like a lot of people say that, but Jurassic Park hit me different. I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it being on TV, and my mom was in the kitchen or whatever, and I was just playing and stuff, and then it was on television, and freaking, like I said, I didn't know what it was, and it was the raptor scene, the kitchen sequence.
They can open doors.
I remember just seeing this scene, and I was just like, what the heck is this? And, just going back and rewatching that, and then that just sparked a whirlwind of trying to learn what a director is. I learned about Spielberg, and then, what is a script writer and stuff like that. It's like I found a lot about, just filmmaking in general just through this one movie. Mm-hmm. And then I've always been watching films and stuff, but I'd say that Jurassic Park was the first one where I was just like, okay, what is this? Because I love dinosaurs.
Yes.
I freaking love dinosaurs. I was that kid in class that was pretending to be like a velociraptor.
Very cool.
But
we did. We used to walk around like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There was a whole class.
It was. But how old were you when you filmed your first thing? And what was it about?
This is so funny. All right. My first effort, I was 15 years old, and it was this film that it was my brother's in it. It was called The Art of Revenge, and it was very Godfather inspired because I used the music for it and everything.
Yes.
And
award-winning score. Great.
It's so funny you even asked me that, just because my mom, her birthday was 2 days ago, and she had my brother and I.
Wait, your mom's birthday is April 13th?
Yeah.
So is my mom.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry.
Tight.
That's awesome.
Tight.
Cool.
Birthday mom twins.
So, but yeah, she was talking to my brother and I about just like, because I was showing her the commercials and stuff that I was making, and she was just like, yeah, like y'all are just always making stuff. And then she went back to our first short, and then which is still on YouTube. It's private, but it's on YouTube. But I was thinking about actually doing like a little comment, like a 20th anniversary. Like, I don't know, like some kind
like
of deal,
a special
like,
edition re-release.
Revisit the revenge.
do like a commentary.
Go back
thing
to
on
where it all started.
But
with a score from The Godfather.
Right.
Inspired
I had, like,
by
the
Jurassic
Godfather
Park.
score on it, and then like I was editing it on Movie Maker, and then like I knew you had credits, and you had to have credits, and so I was using like my relative's name as like set designer and stuff.
Love
and
it.
everything. And but it's so funny because I was watching it, and I mean, of course it's bad, but I was apparently onto something because my shots, how I composed everything, it was there. But yeah, that was the start, and then from then on it was just a ton of just like regular, just just random shorts that I would shoot with my brother, and then more specifically my friends too. Yeah. Like in high school, we had like a little blog. It was called like the Artist Turn Corrupt blog, and it was just this vlog of us just. Anytime we would go to the movies, we would go to not Waffle House, but Waffle King in Phoenix City.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I know Waffle King.
I know Waffle King. I met a reality show producer there once. It's a story for another time.
But yeah, no, like anytime we used to go to the movies deep, like super deep, and like I would always not in the theater, but not recording in the theater, but after a movie, after the movie, we would go to Waffle King and we would just hang out and just talk about the movie, and then we would just shoot that. And then, but yeah, that's
awesome.
And are those all private links now too?
Those are all private.
yeah, that makes sense.
You learn the art of like, what should I unpublish?
Yeah.
When did you start? Because you do a lot of commercials, like you film a lot of commercials around town. How did that come about for you? Like, I mean, you've been doing that professionally for a few years now. So when was your first professional gig? And
it's so funny. I guess professionally, like I had I was gonna say like I've always been into filmmaking, but there was a point in time where I stopped putting down that to pursue like graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
But I was saying that to say that I just recently started for real picking up the camera, like maybe 3 years ago, like full on. And my first commercial was lemongrass, and it was through this wonderful woman by the name of Monica Jones. She runs the local.
Yes.
The local paper.
Yeah.
And so shout out to her. But she actually no, that wasn't my first commercial. My first commercial was
sorry, Monica.
I'm sorry.
Throw you under the bus.
But no, my first commercial was for the Estate. Do y'all remember the Estate, the music venue in Columbus?
No.
It was like this
No.
super, like I guess low key rock. Kind of like I don't know. Like
I do
it was,
not.
Yeah, it was like this.
That is no fault of your commercial that you don't remember it.
No.
I once did a commercial for the spa in Portland that went out of business a year later.
Well, I was about to say to that point, the Estate is no longer a thing. So
right,
yeah, but
right.
yeah, I did a commercial for that, and it really a commercial. It was really supposed to be just showing that show, but it ended up playing as a commercial because I cut it that way. And then, then Monica found me from there, and then
that was awesome.
Went on from there.
That's killer.
I was using a Canon T6i. That was
yeah.
Started with a T3i. That little guy right there.
Yeah.
All right, so you had a T6i.
Yep.
Is that your actual first camera?
No, my first camera.
That's a pretty good first camera.
Yeah. My first camera was like this small like HD Handycam type thing, and I thought it was just the best like thing in the world. Like my mom got it for me for my birthday, and literally from then on, that's where you got Art of Revenge and like all of that stuff.
Nice.
Like a Panasonic or
yeah,
Sony, or
it was a Panasonic. Yeah. As soon as I got that camera, man, like that's when I was just like.
Did it record on a card or on DV tape or
DV
what?
tape.
Oh, okay.
No. Actually, it wasn't DV tape. It was a hard. It was like
CD?
a hard drive.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You kind of put
Ooh,
the
that's pretty
USB
good.
deal in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a memory stick or a thing like that.
Yeah.
Like I had my dad got a VHS camcorder from a pawn shop and gave it to me, and was like, "Here, go nuts." And I did, and it had an iris control on it, right? So what I would do is I would film these Star Trek parodies, and I'd go outside, and we would beam away I would hit record. So we can only beam one person at a time, right? Me and my friend.
Right.
So if he was going to beam away, right, then he would get into frame, and I'd hit record, I can still remember it, and I would turn the iris all the way open, so the whole screen would go from normal to bright white. I'd cut, he'd step out of frame, I'd hit record, and it'd go from bright white, and I'd turn the iris back down to normal, and that worked so
Right,
well.
low-grade special effects. Don't knock it.
How old were you?
I
was
was
like 10.
11.
You were 11 and you figured that out.
And then later we got another VHS, and it was like an old news camera or something, and I was mad because I couldn't do that same thing, and then later we got like a mini DV, and then whatever, but because I got really into it, right? Yeah. And I would like take it, and like we had really bad PC editing stuff. It was like Pinnacle or something like that. I don't remember. And
what were you like cutting it with?
Yeah, so everything. So first I did 2 VCRs, and I did head to head, and I got a switcher, and I would do that way first, right?
See, I wish I was. I
No,
wish
you
I
don't.
had a. I do. I really do. I wish I had a VHS like. During I just wish I operated that first, but
Yeah, but then yeah. So we did that, and then I did that so much, and I came of age in the '90s, and my dad was feeding my habit. He was like, "Here," and we had like no money, but so looking back on it now, it means a lot to me that he took a chance like that, right? But we would have computers that and we had like the limited versions of Photoshop and that kind of stuff, that you could get when you bought like. It was like Photo Deluxe, but it was Adobe, but all their like low end stuff. What you think of as Photoshop elements now, right? The reason I bring that up is in my little space movies, I would import the the mini DV, whatever. I would import that analog through a converter into the Movie Maker stuff, and when I wanted to do some special effects, I would bring them in frame by frame into Photoshop, and Photoshop every frame. To do like lightsabers and stuff.
You are 11.
I had no
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
All right, so that. No, I mean I get it. Like I do get it, just because I wasn't. All right, so I didn't have a camera, but in replacement, I love movies so much. I was that kid that was writing scripts, and then I would come up with the movie posters, and I would make that in paint and stuff.
Yep.
And I remember
With the stretched, with all the lines below.
Yeah.
So and so presents.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stretched type. Yeah.
I was trying to make it like look like super official and everything, but like the dedication and just like that hard work that you put in, putting together all of this tape and stuff, like that's kind of
I get you.
I feel it. I definitely feel that.
We'll have to have like an art swap. Or something.
See,
Like,
I
look at
had a little Canon. It was like when digital cameras were like really expensive, but it could also shoot video. And I was forced in high school to take a computer class, and I learned about Photoshop. And so like I could shoot some things, but like you're saying, the graphic art, I was like, oh, I can do this, and I can add stuff to that. And then I went away from it, and I went to go be an actor and whatever.
And now you're doing McDonald's UK commercials.
Why are you doing that? But when we got this job here, and we had to create our own marketing, and Jeff is a master graphic designer.
I'm retired.
But he did that for his part-time gig when we were in Atlanta. And I was like, I kind of know some about Photoshop. And so I was like, I know. And it's like muscle memory. It's like, I can do this, and
Yeah.
this.
Never
So I've
leaves
been
you.
designing stuff. And I'm like, I can still.
That's how it was
and Adobe's
for
been cool. They've kept a lot of the shortcuts.
They really
That's
have.
that's how Premiere Pro was for me because I was using Movie Maker. I didn't use anything else. I've heard of Final Cut, couldn't afford it, but like I've heard of all of that stuff. But I was using Movie Maker for like the longest, and then after that, then I started doing the graphic design stuff like fully, and then I learned about Premiere. And everything I'm doing in Premiere now is like completely self-taught. But like applying that same like muscle memory from Movie Maker and just applying it to.
But I think there's something to be said that everyone in this room is self-taught. That like we have the drive, and we are just like, well, we'll figure it out along the way. And you get that across the board in every industry, but especially I feel like in the arts, it's like, well, I wanted to do it, so I just figured out how to do it, and I messed up along the way, but here's some good stuff that came out of it.
Well, we're really drawn to people that want to do the thing more than they want to do something else.
I was just going to ask, like, how old were y'all when y'all realized that y'all wanted to do this, get into the film world?
3. I was 3.
Yeah, see, I was like, 3. I feel like that catches on super early on. Yeah.
I didn't know. I couldn't ID that that's what it was, right? But like I loved making movies and TV shows when I was very young. When I suddenly could. Before that, I thought I was going to be a comic book artist, like in 4th grade, and I kind of did that sometimes. But like, I think when I was 13, I became a stage actor, and then at some point flipped over to movies about 10 years ago, maybe. 10 years ago.
I didn't necessarily know I wanted to do film. I just knew I wanted to be a performer. And when I was 3, I used to put on made-up stories for my family all the time, like with costumes and a whole plot line. That didn't make any sense because child logic, but to me they were brilliant. And I always wanted to be performing. I always loved if there was a group of people that I could tell jokes or that I was just creating. And I mean, I was also always I was an only child, so I was always drawing and creating because I had to it was me and my imagination. I didn't have brothers or sisters, and I didn't live in a place where there was a lot of kids at the time. Like, I mean, there were a few kids in the neighborhood, but, not as accessible. And so I was very driven to create what was in my head and make it a reality.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's important, Sarah, like John, like to stay in touch with that kid that was super imaginative and
Absolutely.
that was just wanted to make the stuff? Because every day I walk in this room and I'm like, 11-year-old me would have flipped out.
Out. Like,
Absolutely.
Completely flipped out.
Because there's a fearlessness that you have as a kid.
And he still is.
Because the world. No. But you know what I mean? Like, but there's a fearlessness that you have as a kid, where you're just like, I just want to do it and whatever. There's not all this doubt and stuff that happens as you get older. And,
it's like, I wanted to just, you just want to do it. Like, it was, I tell my mom all the time, it's just like, I tell, like, anytime people ask me, they're like, oh, how old were you, or did you know that you already wanted to do this? Because I know there's like this like stigma of like, oh, a lot of people normally don't really know what they want to do, later and stuff. But I feel like we're just that case where it's just like, we knew it. Like,
even if you couldn't name it, like I didn't know. I mean, I guess I knew people made money doing movies, but I wasn't thinking about money then. Right. But whenever we got this gig or we started, I looked back on our history. It's like, oh, of course. Like everything that we've done sort of leads to us wanting to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even all right. So I knew I wanted to be in films. I wanted to make films, but I was also this artist. I was doing graphic design, and I didn't even know about Photoshop until I went to college. And so before then, I was using Paint. Yeah. And so you should see the stuff I was making just in Paint. But it's like it's like.
You kid pics for you.
I had kid pics. That's right.
For me as well.
Before MS Paint was kid pics.
Yeah.
And you could have voiceover to talk about your artwork, and instead of like embarrassing slideshows, you could just look at my kid pics history and listen to me talk about my painting, and I would tell you the story about this painting.
That's so cool.
And I would make up jokes, and I would make up songs like on the spot. Mm-hmm. Like to this day, I feel like I'm so good at improv because somewhere in my lizard brain, I'm just able to make up songs on the spot.
And see, like, so you do music too, right? Do you do music like on?
Man, it's different. I used to.
Because I used to make beats, but there was a run when I was in Atlanta where I was making music a lot, but like.
No, it's in my head, and sometimes I plunk it out on the piano, but like I haven't, just because I love technology and hate technology at the same time, and it frustrates me a lot, and it always glitches out on me. It never glitches out with Jeffrey, but I always end up, I don't do anything different, it just stops working for me sometimes. And so sometimes with music or if I'm creating something, I don't trust technology. So like I'm the girl who handwrites stuff still, and like because I can have it, right? It won't get deleted if the computer crashes. And I mean, I know that's so much better, but I mean, I've had horror stories where I've written 8 pages of something, the power goes out and it's gone, and it's like there's no backup, and so that scorned me from technology. But my dad's a musician, and we're just teaching him how to use GarageBand because he wants to be able to play directly into the computer and have it, you know, because he's a beautiful musician. He can play anything. It's really awesome and annoying at the same time.
Well, and now we just did this. We recorded an original song for Grounds, and so now I'm deep in Logic, like learning how to help get timing a little better and like all the getting the mix for that, which is super fun.
I asked that just because I feel like because before I wanted to do to make films, at one point I wanted to be a movie poster designer. Like that was my goal right there. Like I love movie posters, but yeah, like I was super into that, and just through commercials, and the more I make those, the more I'm going towards I can do movie posters if I want.
Yeah.
I can do beats and music and stuff if I want. Like at least I want to give this film thing a try. And I feel like I get, you know, a little.
But it makes you stronger. I feel like being aware of all the other departments and aspects that go into a film make you a better an artist, especially if you're like going to be behind the camera. You understand what the director's after, or what, you know, how the music might play and how that might feed the moment. And if you can already have that in your head as you're filming, like you can help orchestrate that and collaborate together.
And also, you know how to sell your movie. You know how to market.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like I don't know about you, but you guys learned everything you need to learn to make the movie. Yeah, you got to know how to write it. If you know how to compose, you know, if you know how to edit it afterwards, if you know like the posters to get people to come see your movie, like it all, you know.
Well, and especially in this day and age where you have YouTube and you have channel, like you can create your own content, and if you're successful, you can keep creating your own content and you can make a living off of that, which was non-existent 10 years ago. And now it's like, I remember I did a web series when I first moved back to Georgia 7-8 years ago, and people laughed at me. They're like, "Oh, you're doing a web series?" And it was like, just wait, I'm telling you, in 3 years web series are going to be the thing. And lo and behold, like, but it's just
web series became Netflix.
No, exactly. But like it started on like people just putting stuff on YouTube, and then it was like, oh well, we can make this a thing, and then Netflix happened and Hulu happened. And
what bothers me is that there's a lot of people that don't realize how easy it is to start their web series or to start a podcast or to start, like, a lot of people get so discouraged by it. Like I get a lot of messages from people like I want to do this thing, but like I have no idea like what camera did you use, what such and such.
If you have a really great smartphone,
you got
a great camera right there.
That same thing. It's like,
because the thing is, if a producer really wants to do it, they will hire you and pay you, and you'll refilm it on something better. But just get your idea out there.
It's the story, right?
Make it. Yes, it's about the story. You can always refilm it, but get that idea, make it yours.
I was about to say, I always say, if you really want to do it, like, just do it. Like, just a lot of, like, people ask me, like, oh, like, why do you, or how do you, like, you know, make a commercial, or how do you do such and such? And it's like, your references are in movies, your references are in commercials, your references, like, in music videos, TV. Like, just, I always tell people, watch more TV, watch more movies,
watch.
Don't make stuff. Don't get it wrong. Don't make a lot of mistakes.
Absolutely.
So that you can.
Because you learn, like 100%, you learn when something doesn't go smoothly. Because the thing is, even on multi-million-dollar film sets, things still go wrong.
And it shows in certain movies.
It does. In certain movies, it absolutely does. So don't think because, you know, you don't have money, you can't make something great. There are plenty of films that the budget has been under $1,000 and it has been phenomenal. There are blockbusters that have had, you know, 2.3, 2.5, 2 whatever billion dollars, and they have tanked at the box office.
Flops.
You know what I mean? So don't let a monetary value dictate what you can and can't do as an artist. You know, like, life is too short for that. You gotta do it.
You know what? Another thing too, I think that also, and I'm only speaking. I guess I'm speaking solely in Columbus. I feel like that's an attestment to when you have a kid that's like discouraged to shoot like their own thing, and now that we have programs like this,
Right.
outlets like stuff like this, there's people like us.
Well, and
so
that really
they're
kind
not
of
surrounded by
segues
people like us and stuff. Yeah.
into the next question on the list is what do we want to happen next in Columbus? Where do we want Columbus to go? Like now that there's the birth of these programs.
I want a full on just get Tyler Perry Studios over here, man. And I'm just playing. Nah.
Yeah.
Just
No,
kidding.
but I think it's important to.
I would like a whole. Honestly, I want Columbus to be that next. I want it to be just like how Atlanta is, like just as big as.
And I really feel like we're on the way, and I think our whole mission, like Jeff and I's personal mission, is to, like, yes, Atlanta is important, and yes, we need to bring some people down from Atlanta, but if we can create our own momentum outside of relying on Atlanta, then we have our own power. You know what I mean? And I think we get to create our own market that then Atlanta can be like, oh yeah, I want to tap into that. You know what I mean? And that's why I think training people who want to work on films is important. So, like, yes, go up to Atlanta, get more experience, but if you can come down and create here where you're known more and you're seen more and you have more opportunities for hands-on experience, absolutely do that. So I think it's working, together.
Mine's pretty simple. Maybe it's too simple. I really just want Columbus to believe that it can happen because being from here, and, we both left, but we're back now. But there was this thing, like, I felt like sometimes I was living in this parallel timeline world, alternate universe, because as a kid, I would come here, like, and do theater camps and like, pursue acting stuff. And when I wasn't here, I would be drawing comics or I'd be making movies on little VHS cameras, right? But I was always like, okay, I have all the stuff. I can do it. I just need to do it. And, Sarah and I both, we've gone on and we've done stuff, right? We've done TV shows and we've done movies and stuff, and it's in commercials. And it's weird when you come back here and you talk about it selectively, because the attitude has been, talking about status quo from the beginning, well, that's great, but that doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
And I can't do that, and it's out of reach.
But it is happening here.
Maybe you did it, but I don't really believe that you did it. That kind of stuff where it's just like, I have the tapes.
Right.
Here it is.
There have been, in the last, how long have we been here now, Jeffrey? Like a year and a half? There have been several major productions that have filmed here, and that people end up liking. They end up enjoying filming in Columbus because of the people and the diversity and the surrounding area that they want to set up shop here, and especially now that there is Flat Rock Studios, if there can be a relationship. I don't know. I just feel like the possibility is there. It's happening.
Columbus is such a good secret, and that's the problem.
Yes,
we're a secret to our own residents,
right.
So I think our residents, a lot of them just don't believe that they can do it, and they're not empowered to do it.
Set over here, we don't want them to
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta.
Yeah, I can't possibly go to LA. I can't possibly do. It doesn't even have to be film. It can be whatever the heck it is that you want to do. But like people just feel like it's out of the. But Columbus.
But I really do believe that once people start seeing the films that we make here in a greater capacity, then I think that's how we change their minds. Because right now people haven't seen it. Like there's like one or two, but until it gets to the masses, or it's on social media, or it's on YouTube, or it's getting out into the universe, right now we're still in the shadows.
But we have companies here that reach the whole world.
Correct.
Right?
100%.
Not just production companies, but all kinds of industries. We have artists here who travel the whole world and kind of sneakily home base here, and nobody knows it. And that's awesome, right? And that's a great secret. But like I'm really ready to just blow the lid off and be like, okay, hello world, here we are.
Yeah, because I remember when we first met, y'all were telling me about all these people that live here. What was the
secret from each other.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, I had no idea these
yeah.
people stayed here. Like
Right.
they're here. Like did
Yeah.
not know that.
Yeah, it's wild. So that's what I want. I want the town. I want that awakening to happen.
We need that. Yeah, that community, like that filmmaker community, to really just come out.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever everybody like stand up and
Yeah, and it's related because we are a smaller town. It's related to a lot of adjacent communities, right? The theater community, especially. I mean, as far as performers and stuff, but like also the music community because you have people there that know production, that know how to create good audio. The visual artist community, right? Because we need that. I mean, and there's also all kinds of like carpenters and like scenic artists, and there's
it all ties
so
together.
Many.
If you do work in any of the arts, it's so translatable into the film industry. It just might have a different name, you know what I mean? But it's like everything I learned how to do on a film set, I learned from doing theater. And it's vice versa. It's not like you're one or the other. You have the skills. You just adapt them slightly. We're always adapting as
That's
humans.
One thing. Well, like whenever I'm approaching if I do a commercial, I try to approach it by shooting it like it's not a local commercial.
Absolutely.
And like, I don't know. That's just the kind of approach I'm trying to do.
You want to
like,
raise the
what
production
I mean?
value.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another thing, and
Yes.
I guess that's what I was really trying to say as far as like the film community, everybody standing, because like you have people like me, for instance. Like I don't know. Maybe I need somebody to do voiceover work. Maybe there's somebody here that does voiceover work like that. I don't know who it is, or you know what I mean. Like, or I need a writer for this thing, or it's just that kind of deal, or animator, like
Yeah, and they're here. They're just hiding.
Yeah,
and we need them to
Y'all
stop
need to come
hiding.
Yes.
Sarah? Did you answer your own question directly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we all got to talk about it. I mean, now I don't really have anything about where we went. Like now, Columbus. Now we can just talk about general film stuff. Now,
yeah, sure. We'll bring it on home. We'll bring it on home for today, maybe.
Right.
Projects. Let's talk about projects. If we're gonna, move some things forward. Anybody working on anything interesting at the moment, or just worked on anything interesting?
I just did a mattress commercial.
That's cool.
Go on. You have the floor.
I just did this mattress commercial, and I'm gonna show it to you guys after this.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've really been beating myself over it. But just because I'm that, I guess, a perfectionist. I don't know. I just feel like I don't trust like my writing sometimes, and I don't trust like what I'm doing. But yeah, no. And then
That
it's so
that
funny.
doesn't get any better.
It's so funny because like I do all this stressing, and it's just a mattress commercial at the end of the day. But to me, it's I want it to be like it's like this local furniture store, but I wanted to make it look like Ashley's Furniture or
Oh, that's
something.
good. That
like
was going to be my question. Was it a furniture store, or was it just a commercial for a mattress in a yard somewhere?
No, it was
Buy
a
this mattress in my friend's yard.
it's a warehouse furniture like discounter store, ENS mattress and furniture deal. Yeah,
That's awesome.
So just taking that place and trying to make it look more upscale.
Oh, that's cool.
I've booked 2 commercials this month.
That's right. You did. You did McDonald's.
UK. I don't
International.
know. But Jeffrey, I don't know if you can talk about it because
Why?
I'm not supposed to put anything in the public until it airs.
Well, but no one. Look, they know that there are McDonald's. Let's speak in hypotheticals here. Purely hypothetically, I hear that there are McDonald's in the currently United Kingdom, and I believe that they do advertising, and it's stands to reason there might be some commercials for that McDonald's, and if so, perhaps you are in one. And we won't talk about what the product is because we can't do that. You're right, we can't do that, but we can say that you did a McDonald's UK commercial because
I also booked another commercial for another international company.
I forgot what that was.
My agent called or messaged me really
Oh,
early.
that just
It was
happened.
like, hey, we want to give you a direct booking. Is that okay? Yes. I filmed that next week, so it's exciting.
So that is tight. I love that. I love hearing that. I love hearing stuff like that. That's super cool.
Yeah, it's just, it was great. So this month has been particularly fruitful in the career department. Other months it's...
And over here at the Institute, we're editing Grounds, which we shot, which is a web series, and we had a project for Gordon College that we're wrapping up right now. So lots of editing for us at the moment of stuff that we've already shot.
I'm sorry. I forgot to mention this. 706 is another thing.
We talked about it at the
yes,
place.
yes.
The coffee place.
Yeah. 706 is almost like not almost. It's just a web series that highlights creatives.
And is it out yet?
Yeah. You can
We'll
like
link
us
to it.
on Facebook. It's 706_GA.
Okay.
I'm already
we'll
following.
We'll put a link to it in show
the show
notes
notes,
so that
yeah.
people can get to it.
Yeah.
Show notes can be found at assembler.fm/talkies for this episode /1. If you care about URLs, assembler.fm/talkies/1. If you don't, just search for it. It'll be there.
Jeffrey,
Yes.
is there a Patreon for Talkies?
There will be a Patreon for Talkies and all of the fine programs on Assembler FM.
Excellent.
I will create that. It's 7:17 now. I'll create that at about 7:45.
He's creating it right now. Yeah.
You can also go to springerfilm.org and make a donation to our sponsor, Springer Film Institute. So that'd be good too. That helps us.
If you enjoyed what you're hearing and you want to hear more, or if you have ideas for topics,
Or if you would like to share your stuff that you're making, if you're working on a cool project right now in film,
Yeah, hit us
and
up.
you can share it, or if you just want to share your portfolio, hit us up. And if anyone actually does that, then we can start linking to those things in show notes or
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell
know,
us about
anywhere
your first
online.
film or something.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
My
Yes.
first film.
Yes. We should set up like emails and stuff so that people can leave audio comments, but we'll get there. Anyway, that probably about wraps us up for this week, yeah?
I think so. Do we want to have any clothing
remarks.
Clothing.
Clothing remarks.
Sarah is wearing a nice off-the-shoulder
I
ensemble.
am. Clothing remarks.
I am wearing a Wolverine t-shirt.
I am wearing a Michael Myers shirt.
And those are our clothing remarks. All right.
Great.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.